Hey, what's going on? This is the Convo Norm along with Mike. It is Sunday, November 27th, 2002. I swear to you, I am not solo. There he is, Mr. Augello. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, my video locked up just as we went live, so I'm doing fine. But
You're doing fine. Your technology, not so much. The Leafs a 4-1 winner in Pittsburgh last night. Three straight wins. The Road Warriors, they are. It's pretty impressive. 5 points out of first in the Atlantic Division. We're at the quarter pole. Quick commentary on the last three games, particularly last night, a strange one against a Penguins team that didn't look that great. And then we'll get into some grades, and I'll let you get out of here.
it's funny because they had won 5 games in a row, and I think the last game they had lost was to Toronto last week. So they'd been playing pretty well. But I have to say, the way the Leafs have played, I mean, we know what happened with Morgan Riley, and Riley is out, and Muzzin is out, and Brody is out, and now Jordy Ben is out. You can see the way this team has sort of put it together in the sense that they realize that the only way that they can win is to play a 5-man defensive unit on the ice. The centers are coming back and helping out the defense. I mean, it's desperate times when Justin Hall's playing 24 minutes a night. I mean, that's, but Giordano has to play, and Sandin and Liljegren are playing 20-plus minutes. All hands are on deck. And the way that they're playing right now is the way that you hope that they would play when the playoffs come around, because that's what is going to be needed, is all hands on deck when the playoffs come around.
Well, the beat goes on. You have to continue on. You can't lament. You can't pause. You can't stop. You can't cry over spilt milk. And this team seems to be rising to the occasion. Austin Matthews, 10 goals now. Mitch Marner with a 16-game point streak. William Nylander scoring. John Tavares doesn't look out of place. He looks reinvigorated. And again, with this defensive mindset, why not just continue on? Right?
Yeah, no, and they're getting spectacular goaltending. It's not about me, but I took a lot of slings and arrows during the off season after the trade for Matt Murray. The Jack Campbellistas.
That guy, man.
No, but I'm just saying, it's like, and well, it was a mistake to not sign him to a 5-year contract. And I keep saying, with Murray, it's not ability, it's availability. And when he's healthy, which is the big question mark, he's a better goaltender. And you can see it right now in the last 10 days. He's 4-0-1.
Right.
He made an unbelievable game-saving save on Kirill Kaprizov on Friday afternoon. Samsonov is coming back. They got a really good performance out of Källgren. And last night in Pittsburgh, that was a near-perfect road effort. They got the lead. They were out shooting Pittsburgh. Both teams were playing on second of back-to-back games.
Right.
And
26 shots for Pittsburgh. So the Leafs did a nice job containing them. 26 shots coming from the Pittsburgh Penguins, not easy, but it's not like Matt Murray was under siege all night and had to pull this one out of his ass.
I mean, Murray in the third period against Minnesota, Minnesota was pressing. They got the empty net goal at 4-3, or not the 6-on-5 goal to make it 4-3, and then he made a fantastic save in the last seconds on Kaprizov. Källgren had a really easy evening of it until like mid to late second period when Pittsburgh started to push. But really, I mean, he made a few good saves, but it wasn't an overly tough game. I'm just saying that the Leafs played a fantastic road game. He took the crowd out of it, and unfortunately didn't take the damn horn. The guy beeping blowing the horn every five seconds at Pittsburgh, which is, thank God they played Pittsburgh 3 times now. They're done with them for the season, so I don't have to hear that damn horn again.
Okay, let's get through some grades, and then we will carry on with our day. Mr. Chris, 2002, making a point about Justin Hall. Repost that in a couple of minutes when we get to Hall, because I want to show that, because we have a fan of Justin Hall right here, Mike, and I'm sure your grade for this young man who's playing way more than he probably should be.
Yep.
I'm sure your grade for him won't be very flattering. Mitch Marner, he's at the top of the page right now because he has 27 points. I mean, honestly, pound for pound this season, he's been the best player.
I know he got off to a slow start, but A plus. He's 16 game point streak. He's been fantastic, creating plays defensively, penalty killing. He's been fantastic. Critics, please shut up.
What's there to complain about? His money? They all make too much. All of them make too much. They're all overpaid. And he's so fluid out there and so fast. He's got his head on a swivel. He looks like he is fucking at the peak of his game, and who knows, it may even get better. He looks like he's got an agenda, and let's expect it to continue. John Tavares, 25 points, second on the team.
The only criticism of him is 5-on-5 scoring. He's been doing the most of the scoring on the power play, but 5-on-5 is coming around, and he's the best face-off guy.
William Nylander, 24 points, 12 goals.
Have to give him an A. I mean, there's been more of Dr. Nylander and very little of Mr. Willie, but this is just like the first quarter from last season. He was fantastic. I think he deserved to make the All-Star team after the first quarter last year. It was the second half of the season where he had the problem.
And Austin Matthews, 24 points, 10 goals.
I would say B. I mean, there's either something wrong physically in terms of injury, or he's just not feeling it right now. He scored a big goal last night, but he's not the Austin Matthews of last year. Maybe that will come pretty soon.
Morgan Rielly is fifth on the team in scoring, no goals, 16 assists.
A minus. A minus. I find little problem with Rielly's game right now, and I know there are people who are critics of him defensively, but I think he logs big minutes. They're going to miss him for the next month, but hopefully it was not any tear of the knee muscles, or ligaments, so he should be back by Christmas or New Year's at full strength.
OG's Conference, keep the chat going. Mike and I are just going to get straight to it today. If I missed your comment, I apologize. Don't forget to like this content, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about what's going on. Mike and I are doing shorts now. Not shorts that you wear, but shorts that...
Yeah. Please, most people are saying, Mike, no shorts. No.
We don't want to see Mike in shorts. You don't want to see me in shorts either. These are shorts that are inserted into the algorithm of the monolithic YouTube that we use to try to keep this podcast going. So watch those, comment. Anything you guys can do to help support what we're doing means a lot to us. Just keeps us relevant, right? Michael Bunting, interesting. 13 points. He made a great pass from his ass last night. Resulted in a goal. Great stuff. Just hardworking kind of player. Maybe should have a few more points by now, or do you even care?
No, I don't. His effort is unbelievable. I'd say A minus. I mean, I said last night after that effort on the Matthews goal, sign him now. He is a worker bee. He goes in the corners. He's a pain in the ass. You don't get players like that very often. He's been fantastic. I know he's maybe not going to score at the rate that he did last year, but he's great. I sign him now. A minus.
So, Calle Yarncroc and David Kampf each have played 23 games. I mean, they've had their ups and downs trying to find their way on the back half of the forward core. But, I mean, Kampf is a +3. Yarncroc has 5 goals. I mean, it's not as if they're not doing you're not doing less than we expected. And, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Kampf, I would give a B. He has done some scoring, which is not usually his forte. He's a really good penalty killer, really good in the face-off circle. Yarncroc started slowly. I'd say B minus, but in the last few games he's played with Tavares and Marner, and if he stays at that role, he's a good two-way forward. Then I think he'll probably improve on that grade. But he started slowly. I think maybe that was natural in terms of his just sort of feeling out process.
Alex Kerfoot, 7 points in 23 games, just a goal.
Yeah, C. I mean, he's trying. I know there's a ton of critics out there, and a lot of people probably give him an F based on his $3.5 million salary. He's important to this team in terms of his versatility, playing the wing, playing center, penalty killing. He's just not finding the net, and he's not in a scoring role like he was last year with Tavares. So right now, C.
Guys, I'm just going off the stat page. We're going from the player with most points down to the bottom. I may skip one or two just for the sake of time, but these aren't it's not in-depth analysis on the player as they are right now, but just a quick grade. Rasmus Sandin, glad he made the season, 6 assists, no goals, kind of biting it in that perspective, like Morgan Riley is. But do we want more from this guy, and what kind of grade are you giving him?
Yeah, I think we want more. I'd say C plus right now. I think
Okay.
missing training camp was rough on him, but I do think you see the ability since Riley went out and they're lumping minutes on him. Point man on the power play,
Right.
creative offensively, still has to tone down the defensive giveaways, but I think that there's a lot of potential there. So C plus for now.
Should Pierre Engvall have emerged beyond what he is by now?
Pierre Engvall is always an enigma. He's always going to give you a great performance one game and a sort of disappearing performance another game. That's what drives Sheldon Keefe crazy. I'd again give him a C plus. There's more there. There's more ability there. He's just not showing it consistently.
Nick Robertson.
He needs opportunity, so
Yeah.
I'd give it an incomplete simply because he's only played a few games. But when he has played, I think he's played well. But I can't give him really an accurate grade because he hasn't played enough games.
Mark Giordano, 1 goal, 5 points. I mean, I'm not expecting too much from him in the offensive production, but other than that, a presence.
A minus. I mean, nobody expected him to play these kind of minutes, and he's been a rock there, especially with all these defensemen out. So yeah, A minus.
And he's played every single game this season. Zach Aston Reese.
Solid fourth liner. I'd say B minus. I mean, not a lot of expectation there, and he's played pretty well in a limited role.
What are you thinking about Timothy Liljegren?
B plus.
Yeah.
I think he showed the improvement last year in the second half. Played with Riley, was not out of place. Now playing with Sandin, he's solid. He's strong. He's improving. I'm encouraged he's going to be a top 4 by the end of the year. Right now he's a top 4, but I mean, when everybody's back, he's a top 4.
So Mr. Chris 2002 is advocating on behalf of Justin Holl, playing a ton of minutes, not giving up any 5-on-5 goals while he's on the ice. He stepped up in a big way. He needs to get more credit in terms of Mr. Chris, and I'm sure other people feel the same way. Mike, what's your grade for Justin Holl?
Then Chris, you give him the credit because I'm not going to. I got my red pencil out here right now, and okay, Justin Holl is a D.
Right.
The only reason he's playing the minutes right now is because they have nobody else to play. What are they going to do? Play Victor Mete 25 minutes? I mean, against Minnesota, he stood in front of the net while Zuccarello scored the goal, standing to the side of the net. He was covering nobody. I mean, when this team is healthy, when Brody and Riley are back, Sandy and Liljegren should be their second pairing, and they go out and get a defenseman at the deadline. At best, Justin Holl is a 7th defenseman, but they have to play him right now, so I give him a D.
Do you want to grade Jordy Ben and TJ Brody?
Jordy Benton, I can't because he only played a few games, but he scored a game-winning goal. So I give him an incomplete. Brody is an A minus. I mean, he's what Brody is: steady, solid. You put him on any defensive pairing, and he improves the partner that he's playing with because he covers his ass. Either Riley or Hall or whoever. They miss him. He'll be back in a couple weeks, but he's a solid veteran. That was one of the best free agent signings that Kyle Dubas ever made.
Matt Murray, when he plays, he's an A.
Yeah, he's an A. I mean, the health thing is a question mark. He got hurt after the first game. The only bad game he's really played was that opening night. I didn't even think he was that bad. I think Sheldon Keefe said that the team in front of him didn't play well. He's been good or great every game since. And if he stays healthy, they have a chance. The save he made against Minnesota is the save that this team didn't get in the playoffs the last 6 years.
And, a save like that in the moment means one thing, but long term can certainly mean another. We may be seeing what that's developing into. Ilya Samsonov has to get an A. I mean, at 2.23 goals against, 921 save, 6 wins in limited work. Eric Shalgren, a workhorse doing his thing, and again as a 1B. Like, for God's sakes, why not?
He may have saved their season with his play. I mean, I'll give him a B. I'll give him a B plus because there's been some flies. I mean, the game against the Islanders where he gave up the puck,
Right.
that led to them losing a point. But he's been steady. He's a third string goaltender, and he's given them quality goaltending. So I'll say B plus.
Okay, so the Maple Leafs on a 3-game winning run, nipping at the heels of a pretty good Bruins team so far this season. We're just looking at the overall stats for the Maple Leafs as a group that many consider elite, despite all of its flaws. There's still some work to do. What's your grade for the team right now at the quarter pole, Michael? And we'll get out of here.
Well, 13-5-5 with all the injuries, with all the with that horrible
Right.
West Coast road swing where they went 1-2-2.
Yeah.
I would say probably A minus because they've been through the ringer through 22 games, 23 games, and they've come out of it with being second place in the Atlantic, and the only teams that are better than them in terms of record in the East, I believe, are Boston and New Jersey. So, I mean, you can't expect more from them. I'll just throw in one more because Morgan, I'd give a B plus because again, fourth line. But the guy who Sheldon Keefe lumped a lot of praise on, and I have to say his confidence in him is growing, and it's justifiable reason. Is Pontus Holmberg? He scored the game-winning goal against New Jersey. He scored the game-winning goal yesterday. He's a depth draft pick from the 2016 draft. He is or 2016 or 2017 draft. He's taken a while to develop in the Swedish league. He's a solid defensive two-way center who can score. He's just been concentrating on defense, and Keefe is he hasn't made any mistakes. And when you have a rookie who's 23 years old who comes into the league and doesn't make any mistakes, that's noteworthy.
Yeah, and these grades may improve for these players as we go forward. Some may regress, but if the team as a whole continue to stay in the A column, that would be great. And it's interesting, Mike, considering the firepower this team has and where it's gotten to based on its pedigree of regular season success, not in the top 10 on PK, not in the top 10 on power play, not in the top 10 for goals for, doesn't have a top 10 scorer right now. And instead of all of this expectation just heaped on their shoulders, maybe a little bit of just looking at this team from a kind of a skeptical way might be what is good for it, right? Because there's an expectation, but there's also an expectation of failure. And if this team can just kind of lay in wait and then explode at the right time, I'm not saying that's the blueprint or the pattern, but if it does turn out to be the case and then success is achieved, that would be a fantastic thing. Any last words?
Yeah, just it was sad that it was so quick after the honoring of Boreas Salming that we learned of his passing on Thursday. I think the Leafs smartly, the patch on the shoulder and recognizing the greatness of Boreas Salming was a class act, and I hope they wear that patch the rest of the season. And it's already seemed to prove to be motivation for the club. So rest in peace, Borea.
Here's to the king. OG's Converse, thanks so much for all of your support, Mike. Have a great day. We'll talk to you in 7 days, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks.